Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is my review for Power Season 4, Episode 6, You Lied to My Face. It is currently 2:13 in the morning. I'm so tired, but I also know a lot of people watch my review Sunday morning, so I hope y'all can appreciate how tired I am, and I'm doing this because I know y'all want to watch it. So, you're welcome. Even my last review had about 4,500 views, so I'm doing this for the viewers. But as we know, first things first, if you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. It does not cost you anything. It just lets you know when I have new videos up, new content up. Like if you waiting for the Power review and you wonder, did Jay Lee's going to do the Power review? You wouldn't have to wonder because you would have a notification of my review. So, please hit subscribe. You can also share my videos. You can also hit the like button on my videos. And there's also a comment section below where you can just scroll down, put your comments in for the show, my review, or whatever you want to comment on. There is only one rule for the comment section. Please be respectful to me and anyone else commenting. My hair is very, very messy. I'm very, very sleepy. It's been a long day. Okay, let's get into this review. It was a really good episode. A lot happened, like from beginning to end. That's what took me so long. I started watching the dang on show at like 12:10. I didn't finish it until it was a little bit after 1 because I kept having to, take notes on everything that happened so that I could cover stuff. So this is probably going to be a long video. Just deal with it. Love ya. So the episode does start off with Tariq and Ghost on the subway from Queens going home. Tariq has a little bit of blood on his collar. Ghost kind of covers it up, and they both are looking shocked for different reasons. I think Ghost is looking shocked for the fact that 1, Kanan's alive. 2, Kanan helped me get my son back and killed his cousin. And 3, Kanan's alive and had my son. And also that his son had been hanging out with Kanan. I think Tariq is in shock because Kanan lied to me. My father lied to me. My parents lied to me. I just seen someone be murdered. And he's just a kid who's having to realize that, life ain't so easy. So that's the whole first scene. We then also see Tommy going into his spot, his cash spot, and he see the dude who had his phone tied up, and he like, man, Ghost robbed us. And Tommy's like, what the fuck? What? He's like, yeah, Ghost and Kanan came in and robbed us, and they also shot and killed the dude who was in the money room. And Tommy's like, what the fuck is this? So as he's, as that's happening, his phone's ringing, it's Ghost. He's like, what the fuck, Ghost? And Tommy's talking, and Ghost is like, Tommy, shut up. Tariq's in trouble. We gotta meet right now. He's like, all right, where y'all at? Boom, he go to meet Ghost. So, when he pulls up and he gets out the car, Tariq instantly goes and hugs Tommy. Which, if you notice, it's a little bit weird because when Kanan shot Jukebox and Ghost grabbed Tariq didn't hug Ghost back. Remember I said Tariq's body was like kind of limp. He wasn't hugging his dad back. But he embraced Tommy because again, Kanan in his head, he still has this thing against his father. So yeah, anyway, Tommy tells Tariq, get in the car, me and your dad gotta talk. So Tariq does get in the car, but as any kid do, he rolled the window down and he listened to Tommy and Ghost talk. Now again, in my head, I don't see why Ghost and Tommy didn't realize Tariq had the window down. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they didn't. They were talking, and Ghost is basically telling Tommy what happened. While Tariq is listening. And he's like, Ghost, what the fuck happened? He's like, man, Kanan is alive. Basically, Tariq been hanging out with Kanan. You remember Jukebox? He's like, yeah, that crazy bitch. And Ghost is like, well, yeah, Jukebox kidnapped Tariq. And Kanan, who also kidnapped, who also was in on it, but he helped me get Tariq back, and he killed Jukebox. And then, Tommy's like, but you said you killed him. You said that you burned, you murdered him and he was set on fire with that. He's like, well, no, I guess he survived, but he got bad burns. He got, half his body is burned up. And then Tommy's like, shit, Tasha was right. Ghost like, what you mean Tasha was right? He was like, when you was locked up, Tariq was supposedly kidnapped. So, no, Tasha got a ransom for Tariq, but Tariq said it was a joke. But they sent a picture of Tariq, you know, out cold basically, and he was like, it was a dark-skinned, burned-up hand around him. He was like, so Tariq lied and said it was his friends playing a joke. And then Ghost like, yeah, Tariq lied to you. That's not true. He been hanging out with Kanan. And then Tommy like, Tasha didn't tell you? And he was like, no, she didn't tell me. And all this that they're talking, Tariq can hear them talking. And he's like, what else he told him? Basically, he was saying, you know, Kanan got Tariq mad. Yeah, my hair look messy. Don't talk about me, y'all. Kanan got Tariq's mind all fucked up. And, you know, it's just a crazy situation. But, you know, basically, he was like, that's why I robbed you, because they wanted the money. And Tommy's like, man, you know, if it was anybody else, you would be dead by now. And Ghost's like, you know, I know. And then, so they kind of, you know, dab it up or whatever. And they go back to the car to talk to Tariq. Tommy asked Tariq point blank, hey, did Dre know that Slim was Kanan? Did Dre ever see you with Slim before? Did he know anything? Tariq, lie. Nah. Kanan always stayed hidden. He never let anyone see him. Dre didn't know nothing. Dre a sneaky little fucker with his little sexy ass. So Tom's like, okay, that's cool. He leave that alone. But we see Tariq all fucked up in the head, yeah. But we also see his ass is still lying. And that angers me. So I'm going to be wiping my eyes a lot because I'm tired. And my eyes are getting watery. But I'm going to give y'all this damn review. We see the next scene is Mock talking to Angela, Sachs, and Sandoval. Basically telling all of them that they're all still suspended. Pause. My eyes were too watery. I ain't back. So yeah, Mock is talking to, you know, Angela, Sandoval, and Sachs, and letting them know that they're all basically still on suspension. But also saying y'all are on suspension as of right now, but eventually y'all are going to be fired. So y'all might as well, you know, get them resumes together because it's only a matter of time. And then when Angela says, well, why aren't you, you know, also being suspended? You know, you were the head of the ship, so you should go down with us too. And he's like, well, I basically argued that I was too new to the situation to know what y'all were doing behind closed doors or all the things that transpired before I got on the case, which is technically true, but, you know, he still was involved in the end, but he argued his case. And he basically said how he is going to keep trying to find Greg's killer. He also said how he didn't say he was gonna go after Ghost, but he said he's gonna try to figure out who killed Knox. He's not gonna let this go, but he wants to get this, you know, bad blemish on his record as far as him not winning the case. You know, he's gonna get it solved one way or the other, so he ain't letting it go, and he still can do that. But he's like, you know, all y'all access is gone. Y'all, you know, y'all all are blocked from everything. Y'all need to just leave it alone and go ahead about y'all business. And yeah, so that's one whole thing. So next we see Tasha saying, you know, where have y'all been? And we see that it is Ghost and Tariq coming into the apartment because, of course, they've been gone all night, you know, because they had to catch the train and all this stuff that happened. So, and she's like, don't you lie to me, boy. Talking to Tariq, I want to hear from your mouth. And Tariq like, you lied to my face. And he got all big and ballsy with his mama. And I'm like, calm down, little boy. First of all, not a real mother, I'm not going to say a real mother. In real life, a mother would have probably slapped their son in the face if that was a black mama. Just saying, that's what would have happened. But she was like, what the fuck? You know, you lied to me about Sean. And she's like, Sean, what are you talking about? And Tariq is so angry. He's just, you know, you lied to me about Sean. And she's like, what? And then he's like, Ghost says, Kanan kidnapped Tariq. That's where he's been. He's been hanging out with Kanan. And he's like, and apparently this wasn't the first time. And that was his little, you know, nod to, you didn't tell me what happened the first time or whatever. She's like, what? And she looks completely shocked. And she's like, this whole time, I knew it. This whole time, Slim was Kanan. And she's going through them, you know, in her head the same way Ghost had to get it through his head, everything that happened. She's also like going through those moments of confusion, pissed off, and oh my God, this whole time I knew something was up and I didn't act on it. So he tell Tariq to go take a shower and give me your clothes when you done, because of course there's blood on his clothes. And him and Tasha then go into the other room and have a conversation. Ghost and Tasha are arguing, and he's mad because he's like, one, you didn't tell me that something happened where Tariq was missing. And she's like, it slipped my mind. There was so much going on. And he's like, you had one fucking job to do. One fucking job. And you had our son hanging out with Kanan. And she pissed off like, motherfucker, what? She's like, I had more than one job. I had to be with the kids. I had to play the wife to you. I had to scrape together money for your dang on bail. And all while you was in jail having to be calm because Proctor didn't want you, acting out or whatever. And he's upset. He like, oh, you think it was easy, me being in jail? He like, I was in there and I was innocent. And she was like, well, you might not have did, that crime, but, what was the real reason you was arrested? And he like, I was arrested because I was trying to basically protect Tommy, saying the reason he was arrested was because he broke into Greg's apartment trying to get evidence to stop Tommy from getting arrested, which is why his fingerprints is there, and that's why in his head he's been arrested. And Tasha like, that ain't why your ass was arrested. You was arrested because you put your dick in that fed bitch. Her exact words was that, because you put your dick in that fed bitch. And that was parts of the reason. And then he's like, look, this ain't got nothing to do with me and Angela at all. This is about Tariq hanging out with Kanan. And, that's what he's trying to... No, that's not what he said first. She then goes into, it's kind of your fault because Tariq was okay until you started fucking with Angela. You was fucking with Angela. You left your family for her, and Tariq just got disrespectful and all this craziness. And he was like, I didn't leave our family. I left for you. Damn, Ghost. Like that? You can't just break her heart like that. I'm like, that's, damn, okay. Well, yeah, it's true. And then that's when he says, but this not even about me and Angela. This is about, Tariq and Kanan and them hanging around each other. And then you hear Tasha say, Kanan wouldn't even be an issue if you would have killed him 10 years ago, like I told you. Yes, we find out the person who wanted Kanan dead was not Ghost. It was Tasha's ass. Tasha wanted Ghost to kill Kanan, and Ghost chose, instead of killing him like Tasha wanted, to set him up and got him locked up. And the motherfucking plot thickens. So the whole time that Ghost and Tasha's have this argument in their room with the doors closed in their closet, Raina has been outside the door of their bedroom hearing them argue. So she hears her mom saying, I told you to kill Kanan. She hears Ghost saying, Tariq was kidnapped by Kanan. So she's hearing all this, and, she's the baby girl. She doesn't know all of this stuff has been going on all this time. So for her, it's a shock, too. Especially to hear your father say, your mama told you to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? So Raina looked a little shocked. And so it's that whole thing. So Raina knocked on the door, like, Mom, Dad. She gives, her dad a hug because, of course, this is her for the first time seeing her father since he's out of jail. And she's like, someone's downstairs, they're coming up. So who's coming up? Who was out in the house? It's Stern. Stern come in with a whole goddamn, like a makeover team because of course, him and Ghost are going into business together to do real estate stuff. And he's like, I know you were going to be a Stern, what's up? And Stern's like, remember I told you I was going to bring, an image consultant team here to, speak with you. And the lady walked in, oh, you have a beautiful house, Mrs. St. Patrick. We're going to have to kind of restyle it for this interview. And they're like, what interview? Stern them booked them on a live TV interview, and he wants the whole family to be involved. So Tasha, Ghost, Raina, Tariq, and the baby that we never see. They're all supposed to be on there. And Tasha's like, my kids have been through enough with paparazzi and all this stuff. I don't want them on camera again. And Stern argues, it would be good for his image. We have to fix his image. And we need a part of that is going to be, this wholesome family. Pause. Okay. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I'm going through so much to be with y'all. Oh, it's so much. I'm so tired, but I'm going to get through it. Anywho, So Ghost is like, Tasha, we need to do this. And he turns to Stern and says, the whole family would be here. And it's almost a slap in Tasha's face a little bit because, they had that conversation while he was locked up. To any decisions they make, they should make them together. And they haven't really been doing that. As far as when Tasha made the deal with Stern, she didn't talk to Ghost. Ghost agreeing to have the whole family on there when he know Tasha don't really want it. They're not kind of being the unit that they should be. But, that's just a part of it. And they're like, okay, that's just what they're going to have to do. So next, we see what I've been waiting for. We see Tommy confronting Dre about Tariq and Kanan. And he pulls up and he walks up with his gun like, hey, how long did you know that Kanan was alive? Dre, Rotimi is a really good actor. I will say that. Because he played this role to the T. He looked completely surprised. He like, what? Kanan's alive? I didn't know that. And he was like, bullshit. You knew that he was slim. How long did you know? And he's still saying, Tommy, I didn't know that at all. I don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. So as Tommy's looking at him, and Dre did look very believable. He did look like he was completely shocked. He's a good fucking actor. He's playing the role to the T. And, so Tommy puts his gun down, and I was like, Rotimi, Dre asked, did Tariq say that? And he's like, no, he didn't. So we leave that whole little part alone. And he's like, because if Kanan's alive, he gonna come looking for me. He's playing the role of a person who really thought Kanan was dead, and if he's alive because I'm with y'all, he gonna come looking for me for real. I mean, he played the role really good, but we still know Dre ain't shit, and that Dre needs to die soon. But it looks like he might not, because if Tommy didn't kill him today, when he gonna kill him? So, Dre then says, we got bigger problems, I'm looking for Julio, he's missing. I've been calling him and, he ain't answering, but his car right here. He was coming here to meet the new, the primo something, meeting some damn new people. And Tommy's like, what, when did that get set up? Who was he meeting? And Dre acts like, well, I don't know. And they go into the warehouse together. And what do they find? Of course, they find Julio's dead body. And they're like, fuck. So Tommy looks at the body, and he turns the neck sideways, and he see how they cut off his Toro's tattoo. And so he instantly know the Toros did this. And Dre looks pissed when he notices that, and that Tommy instantly know it's the Toros. So Dre know his plan didn't fully work. Yeah, Julio dead, but you have more loose ends to fix, because now it's a direct connection to who actually killed him. And Tommy's pissed off. He's like, the Toros must have did it. That's a complete disrespect to me and Ghost, because Dre was like, what does Ghost have to do with this? And he's like, Ghost paid for Julio to be out of the gang. So for them to kill him is disrespectful to Ghost. It's them saying that they're not even scared of me. So of course, Tommy don't play that bullshit. So as he's saying that, and he's mad because Julio's dead, Dre, he like, so who gonna be the new distro? And Tommy's like, damn, the body ain't even cold yet. Which is true. You know what I'm saying? You need at least, give him a day. Dre? Nope, not Dre. And Dre's like, look, Julio was in his life and he knew, what could happen. He dead now. He like, what the fuck you want to do? Put an ad in the paper for a new, position? I want to, let me do that. And he says to him, set up a meeting with, it sounded like he said L'Oreal, but I don't think that's, I don't know the name he said, but he basically said set up a meeting with the head of the Toros. And he's like, set it up, you promote it, and that's it. And he walks away. And Dre then, he says, put Julio's body somewhere nice. Like, get his body out of here, and, we got to get it out of here. And Dre stands over he kneels down in front of Julio's body, and he says, I win, motherfucker. He's an asshole to the end. Dre character has really came from being up under Kanan's thumb as like this a low level, running drugs, to being up under Ghost, and Ghost trying to teach him to be like a new Ghost. And now he's like this underhanded, sneaky. He's almost like a mini Ghost of kind of how people can say Ghost was when he was with Kanan a long time ago. But no, not really. Because, I don't know. But I don't like, I get they can't. I get they can't have the show be exactly how the viewers want it. I get you're going to have characters who we don't like. People going to double cross because that's what happened in real life. I get that. But I'm like, Dre, you was basically plucked out of the hood and you set Julio up when you could have. I just Julio, damn it, man. I'm so mad he's. So anyway, next. We next see Sax, Angela, and Santa. Oh, because after he says, you know, I win, motherfucker, it was the next scene. So nothing else happened with that. We see Sax, Angela, and Sandoval having a conversation. And they're leaving out of the meeting they were having with Mock in the earlier scene. And they're basically just saying how, you know, Mock ain't shit, and that's bullshit. Or whatever. Sax then says to Angela, like, you know, I still think Ghost did it. And I'm going to pin it on him, you know, if I can't do anything else. And Angela's like, well, you can't. You know, the gun was planted there. So the gun was the whole piece of the case. And you know, you can't connect it to him because we know he didn't do it. And he's like, well, I'll just find a way to pin it on him. Basically meaning the same thing that Sandoval did, he want to do. He going to pin the goddamn murder on Ghost. And she's just like, basically, whatever. And then he was like, you know what, after I take down St. Patrick, I'm going to get my rocks off coming after you. Okay, then, Sax, that's how you feel, bruh? And Angela kind of like, you know, whatever. And then she leaves on the elevator. So, yeah, we see that part. We see then Ghost and Tommy having a conversation in respect to Tommy telling Ghost Julio is dead. And that, you know, the Toros did it. And Ghost is like, look, now it's not the time for you or us to react to it. We can't retaliate just yet. It's too much heat. I just got out of jail. They're going to still be watching me. And if you do something, it's going to cause more heat to be on us all. And Tommy's like, so you're going to tell me what to do and not ask me what I'm going to do? And he's like, look, I'm trying to protect you and me. That's just the thing that we both need to do. I'm trying to make calls to keep us both out of jail. I'm trying to protect us all. I mean, which he technically is. You know, I think that is what he's doing. But he's also still trying to keep his hands clean in some kind of way. And that's when Tommy goes into the same way you were trying to protect me when you didn't tell me about that Ruiz was wired the night I killed him. And he's like, oh, so Proctor told you about that? And he's like, yeah. And he was like, but, you know, I got the tape back and I heard the tape. And, you know, all you need to know is I took care of the tape. But I don't think that's true. Because I'm like, I could have sworn the episode. Well, no, that's a whole different subject. No. But yeah, he's telling the Ghost that he basically took care of it. But he's like, you know, but now I got to go handle the Toro. So basically he's saying, fuck what Ghost said. I know you told me that we can't go to war right now. But as we know, Tommy not trying to listen to Ghost and take direction from Ghost. Basically, Tommy his own person. As we know, because Ghost is supposed to be out of it. So Tommy, I have to handle it the way I have to handle it. Next, we see a scene where Tasha's talking to Raina, basically asking Raina if she has heard about anyone named Kanan, if she's seen someone named Kanan. She described how he looked, like, you know, he's dark skinned, he has all these burns. And Raina's like, no, I don't know who that is. I haven't seen him at all. And she basically warned Raina, like, if you see him or if he's around, he's a very bad person. You know, stay away from him and let us know if you see him. And Raina is like, Raina was asking her, you know, she kind of knew her mom wasn't telling her everything. So Raina kind of got pissed a little bit. She's like, you know, I'm not a baby. I'm not a kid. I know something's going on. So, you know, tell me the truth. It's, you know, this can't have anything to do with Tariq. And Tasha's like, you know, she sits her down again. And she's like, look, you know, Tariq got in with a bad crowd. And for that, some bad things happened. You know, he got in over his head. And she did admit, yes, Kanan had something to do with it. But she was like, so if you see your brother sneaking out, I need you to tell me because, you know, we need to be here for him. And Raina basically agrees, but on some level, she still know her mama not telling her the whole story because, again, she heard her mama and Ghost arguing, but Ghost and Tasha don't know that she heard that whole conversation. So she's kind of asking her mama to see what her mom would say to her. Her mom kind of told her the truth, but still, then again, still didn't tell her the whole truth. So yeah, we had that whole thing. The next scene, we do see Sandoval and Sax going to talk to Mock. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to say that Donovan killed Greg. Now, Donovan was the black agent who, when they were on trial, that Proctor made it seem as if he did it. Like he hid the gun, he found the gun, he did all this because he's the mole. So they're trying to make it seem as if he did it. And they're talking to him like, because that's who found the gun. That's who found the fingerprint. That's who did this and that's who did that. So they're trying to, it's more of Sandoval trying to point the finger because we know Sandoval really did it. And they're basically saying, hey, you should look into him. If he didn't do it, he'll be clean. It won't matter. If he did do it, you'll win your case. And at the same time as they're having that conversation with Mock, we see Angela's meeting with Donovan. And she's saying to them that Donovan still thinks Ghost did it. And she's like, he didn't do it because he didn't. The gun wasn't there before we arrested him. He never had the gun. Someone must have planted the gun. And she's asking him, like, who else may have went upstairs, who could have did this and who could have did that. And he's thinking, and he's like, well, it could have been Sandoval, it could have been Sax, and they're kind of going back and forth a little bit. And she's like, someone planted the gun. And she's asking him to look into it because he's still within the bureau, so he can kind of look into it. So we have that whole thing. Next, Tasha talking to Silver. Tasha talking to Silver basically because she's asking him about this interview that they want the family to do. And he's saying, like, I do think it's a bad idea. But he also says, I think it's a good idea because, y'all, he could still be arrested. And this can be a thing to help build up his character. To build, get his name back good. And he's like, you should be there with him because if he falls short, you can build him up on camera as, as family. And as an image. And then he's like, well, what? I just want you to know I don't want to represent your husband anymore. And she's like, what? But we need you. I need you. Bitch, what? Tasha's I'm going to wait to go in on her a little bit later. But basically, he then says, you know what? Okay, I'll still be there, but not for your husband, but for you. Tasha, how you already trying to get into bed with this man? Because that's what you're trying to do. You don't need that man. And why are you having a meeting with your husband's lawyer without your husband there unless you want to fuck that man? Anywho, he says he's going to still be there for her. Next, we do see a little scene of Ghost meeting with Proctor. And he's confronting Proctor about Proctor not telling him that Tommy killed the Homeland Security guy. And Proctor's like, Tommy's a fucking lunatic. He's crazy. I don't tell Tommy what to do. Tommy just does whatever and we're left to deal with it. And he's like, he told Proctor, have you had your apartment cleaned since the murder? And he's like, you already had it cleaned. He's like, no, you need to have it cleaned again and again and again. Because, of course, it can be any kind of evidence there. And with Tommy being crazy, they're all kind of guilty at this point in time. So that was a little short scene. Next, we see the Toros the guy who really killed Julio, the Toros leader dude, is meeting with Tommy and Dre. And they serve up basically a scapegoat. And they had the guy tied up and they're beating him up and stuff. And he's like, he was a lone wolf. He killed Julio. We didn't know he did it. And everything. And Tommy's like, he looking at the guy. And he like, Julio was tough. He killed Julio. And he was like, well, yeah, just blaming it on him. And then as he's blaming the guy is speaking in Spanish, like, and he's basically protesting or whatever. And in Spanish, he's saying, you liar, you fucking, you... Basically, he lied because he didn't do it. You fucking idiot or whatever. And Tommy's like, whatever. And he shoots the scapegoat in the head, kills him. He then points his gun at the real killer, the Toros guy. He's like, I don't care that you served up this little pussy person. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about that. Y'all killed my distro. Y'all disrespected the deal that we had. It's some bullshit. And, I think he don't believe the guy did it on his own, which is why he's now kind of threatening the leader. And Dre like, man, they gave us their own person. We got to stay calm with this. And Dre's scared because he know if Tommy scares him enough to snitch, he gonna be the one getting murdered. And the guy like, man, it was him. Ain't had nothing to do with us. And then Tommy's like, you know what? I want the territory that we gave y'all in exchange for Julio. We want that back. And oh boy, like, we can't do that. We have to get permission from the Jimenez cartel. And he's like, look, I don't care what you have to do, but that's what I want. And I either can shoot you in the head now, and they can come looking for me, and I'll get approval then, or you can just go to them, set up a meeting, and I can get the approval. He's like, but either way it go, I'm gonna meet with them. It just depends on if you want to be dead or alive when it happens. And the thing that I noticed is that the leader looks at Dre first. He did this. And then looked at Tommy and said, okay, I'll set it up. And I'm like, Tommy, you ain't see that? Because I would have said, what the fuck you looking at him for? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, who knows what's going to happen with that. So, Tommy's like, oh, okay. And he walks away. Dre, as Tommy's walking out, Dre is talking to the dude who he met with to kill Julio. And he's like, you know, you were supposed to not make it look like y'all did it. You know, you fucked up that way. I fucked up too. But, you know, if this goes bad, you know, and if a war break out, we both going to lose. And then, you know, they kind of part ways and walk away. So, yeah. There's been a scene. And at first, I'm like, who the fuck is these people? Because this is the scene that happened. We see a guy and a girl. No, it's a guy snorting cocaine. And all that stuff. He's snorting cocaine. Then we see a guy walk in and a girl walk in. And they are like, you know, oh, you doing drugs? Blah, 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 blah. They then asked him if it was their drugs. So I'm like, who? These, okay, must be some cartel people. Who are they? And the guy say, we hear that there's a snitch willing to testify against us. And he's like, what? I didn't know about that. And then as he's talking to the dude, two other guys walk in dragging in the lady. And I'm like, okay, that must be his girl. So then they open up some cocaine. And they like, since you're so concerned with snorting cocaine instead of selling our cocaine, you know, do all this cocaine. They dumped a whole bunch of it on the table. And they make him sniff it. And he's sniffing it, and he's sniffing it, and he's sniffing it as they got a gun to his head. And they like, either, you know, finish all of it, or we're going to, you know, kill your wife and your baby. And so he's sniffing and he's sniffing and he's sniffing. And he sniffed so much, of course he OD. His nose is bleeding. There's blood all on the cocaine. And he's still trying to sniff it to stay alive. But he ended up dying. I'm like, damn, that's okay. Okay. So then the girl get up and she go get a baby, their baby. And she holding the baby and the wife is screaming like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then the ladies say, please go ahead and shoot her so that we can leave. They then shoot the wife in the head and take the goddamn baby. I'm like, who the fuck is these people coming in killing people and kidnapping babies? It was just such a different scene that I was like, I don't know what's going on. They then leave cards on each body. And I was like, that's the Jimenez cartel. Because in season 1 or season 2, that's what Ghost did to make people think that someone else was killing people. I'm like, okay, those are the crazy people that Tommy wants to meet with. Okay, it all makes sense. Okay. And then the next scene. So we had that whole scene. But again, they didn't show who they were. They didn't say any names. So I didn't know kind of who they were until they put the cards on the body. I'm like, okay, that's who they are. But I'm like, they took the goddamn baby. Ain't that some shit? So the next thing that we see is the St. Patrick family on display. They're basically doing this whole interview with this lady. And she's just saying, do you think they played the race card and that's why you were, you know, basically arrested and everything? And he's like, well, you know, not really. You know, I was innocent. I still believe in the judicial system. And, you know, I'm happy to be home with my family. And then she's like, well, you technically weren't found innocent. You know, your former mistress laid down on her sword and she just admitted that there was a lot of, you know, misrepresentation on the behalf of the prosecuting team. So that's why you were, you know, basically let go. How does that go? And then he was like, well, no. She found evidence that proved I was innocent. And, you know, she came forth with it. And he basically said, you know, the charges were dropped, period. So then she goes to Tasha. And she's like, I know it has to be, it was a black reporter, you know, just let you know. I know it has to be so hard for you to have seen Angela every day. And, you know, for it to remind you of the affair your husband had with her. How is that making you feel? And oh yeah, where's your wedding ring? Because she's not wearing her ring. So she then looks at Silver, because she's like, he points to himself, and she says, well, honestly, I had to sell my ring to pay lawyer fees. It's very expensive to defend an innocent man, and, so I had to sell my ring. Yes, it was hard, but, we're dealing with it. And she then asked her, are you ready to rebuild your life with James? And then she's like, yes, he came clean about the affair. It was very hard for our family. But she then says it also wasn't all his fault. She says, I also stopped believing in his dreams. And for me, that was a little bit of honesty. Even though the whole facade of them as a whole of family is fake, I still think that was a real moment, because she really did stop believing in his dream when his dream was to stop being a drug dealer. She wasn't there for him. And that was one of the reasons why he started sleeping with Angela, because she believed in him and his whole the business of the clubs and all that stuff. So that was a bit of truth within the bullshit. So I thought that was cool. So yeah, I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do next. So next we see Dre talking to, there's so much crap to go over. We see Dre talking to Tariq, and Tariq is asking Dre is asking Tariq, why didn't you tell on me the time, why did you still lie for me? And Tariq is like, well, I basically wanted to ask you why you introduced me to Kanan in the first place. And, Tariq is then asking if Ghost sent Kanan to jail, if Tommy knew that his dad sent him to jail. And, Drake says no, Tommy didn't know. But my thing is, why you asking Dre, and Dre wasn't even around back then? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, you asking Dre shit, and Dre wasn't around them back in the day. So Dre down to your own age. So that part to me was a little bit weird. Even though Dre said, well, no, Tommy didn't know. And when he says, well, did my mom know? Dre kind of doesn't say anything. Meaning, technically, yes, your mother knew, but, that's just a part of stuff. But my thing with Tariq is, why the fuck is your stupid ass still giving a fuck about Kanan? For me, it's weird that now that you know Kanan ain't shit and he used you and lied to you, why is you still listening to what he told you against your parents? But I guess it's also a way of showing that when kids stop being kids and they're having to grow up and realize real life shit. Like, in real life, your dad sold drugs or sell drugs. In real life, your mama knew your daddy sold drugs. In real life, your father and your Uncle Tommy was killing people. So I guess he's still trying to wrap his mind around that, and he feel like everyone his whole life has lied to him. But it ain't that they lied to him. You a kid. You know what I'm saying? So you're not privy to that information. But whatever. But it was throwing me off because, Tariq was really still wondering. It's almost like he's still trying to make Kanan out to not be such a bad guy. And I think that's fucking stupid. But again, Tariq been done this whole goddamn season. Next we see Tommy meeting with the Hernandez cartel. And he basically telling them, your people, the locals, the Toros, killed my distro. And that was disrespectful. Ghost made a deal for Julio's life. And that should have been honored. And the real killer, as Tommy is saying this, is like, man, that Puto deserved to be killed. And the lady Hernandez cartel is like, shut up, dumbass. She says that in Spanish. And she does ask, well, is Ghost out the game? And Tommy's like, well, yeah, but that shouldn't matter. And what made me giggle is Tommy ass gonna say, when Dave Thomas died, you didn't see Ronald McDonald riding down on Wendy's. Did you just compare McDonald's and Wendy's to the drug people? Okay, Tommy, cracking jokes at the time when it ain't appropriate. But it's true. Ghost is out the game, but that doesn't mean that the deal is made should no longer be honored. You know what I'm saying? Because he's still alive. It ain't like he, went anywhere. So that part was true. He then tells them, you know what? I want our old territory back. I want 6 corners of the Toros, and I want access to y'all port, because basically for y'all killing Julio, and because basically y'all owe me. And she asked, like, well, did your boss agree to this? And he's like, well, no, this is just for me. He wants me to kind of we're on the West Coast, but, you know, I didn't think about that right now. He's like, but y'all owe me because I killed Lobos. And she kind of laughed, and she's like, no, we had Lobo stabbed in prison. And he's like, y'all so dumb. Don't take credit for that. So then he then reveals Lobo survived the stabbing. He was also going to snitch on all of y'all, but I got to him and I killed him. So I basically saved y'all ass then, so y'all owe me. So, you know, this is what I want. And they have to think about it. He's like, all right, well, don't think too soon. So that was the end of that scene. And I forgot that they tried to kill him in prison, and people did think that he was dead because that is what they made people think so that he could testify. So Tommy being honest and saying, no, I actually killed him, it made them realize they do owe them. So that's the drug game for you. So we do see Tariq in his room making himself lean, getting high on his own goddamn supply. And, you know, ghosts come in basically to talk to him about the whole situation and what happened. And, you know, Tariq is in there playing like whatever game that you play and you shoot people. And he like, you can still play that game even after what happened with Juke. You know, it didn't shake you up. And he's like, no, it ain't nothing new. It should be something new seeing somebody killed in front of you, but I digress. He cut the game off and he's talking to him. And he's asking, where did you meet Kanan? And Tariq partially tells the truth and say, you know, he kind of walked up on me, I met him. He said his name was Slim, that he knew Sean, and that he knew you. And so he kind of told the truth, but he didn't tell the full truth. And so as he's talking to his dad, he keeps asking stuff like, as far as why Kanan was mad at him. And Ghost is like, well, whatever the reasons was, it wasn't a good enough reason for him to try to come after you. And Ghost is still lying, basically. Tariq knows he's lying, but he's just still asking more questions that Ghost is still lying about. He's like, well, did mom have anything to do with it? Is mom the reason he's mad? And then again, Ghost is like, me and your mother had nothing to do with him going to jail. You know, it's just a whole crazy situation. And they kind of leave it at that, of Ghost saying they had nothing to do with it and leaving it at that. And I think his phone rings, and it's the Tariq guy calling for Tommy. And he answers his phone like, okay, I'll have him call you. And he tells Tariq, you know, when he finished playing the game, to come get some food. Okay, yeah. What else? Oh, so we see Tasha is out karaoke and hanging out with friends. And who else is there with her? Silver. Now, what the fuck is Silver doing there? You gonna just invite that man out? And I'm like, what? So, you know, she starts singing a little karaoke song. And she's singing, it's a Whitney Houston song that she's singing. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So, you know, in the next scene with them to this club, he like, you know, you can really sing. And she's like, yeah, in the whole no life we could have, you know, been singing together. I'm like, you gonna really keep flirting with this goddamn attorney? Like, really, Tasha? Really, Tasha? And, you know, they get a little bit closer to each other. And they start kissing. I'm like, this bitch here. Tasha is, I'ma wait. So they do kiss, like, and they kissing. And then he says, you know, I don't make it a habit kissing my clients' wives. And she's like, you know, it's the first time of everything. And he's like, you know, let me get you into a car to get you home. The following morning, Tasha walks to her room and she's all smiling. Probably think about that kiss with Silver. And she sees a box on the bed. And Ghost is like, open it. And it's a new ring. And he basically puts it on her finger. And then she said, I thought we couldn't afford it. And he's like, well, no, you know, the first time I gave you a ring, it was because you made me a better drug dealer. This time I give you a new ring because yesterday you made me a better man. Because in the interview, she spoke up for him and it made him look better. And then he gives her a kiss on the lips. And she kind of kisses him back a little bit. And for me, she looks torn between, this was a great gesture from him, but also, I kissed Silver before, so I don't know what I want to do. So it's that whole weird thing. We then see that Tommy stops by, and he's talking to Tariq. And Tariq asks if Tommy knew that his dad sent Kanan to jail. And Tommy's like, you know, no, I don't. He then asks Tommy, you know, Tommy's like, what did Kanan say? You know, he said that you and my dad killed people, you know, or whatever. So Tommy kind of gets up. He's like, look, That's the conversation that you need to have with your dad. This isn't my story to tell. But what I can tell you is Kanan is not a good guy. And Tariq is like, right now it's hard to tell the good guys from the bad guys. Tommy clearly sees Tariq is different. Because even the conversations they're having, Tariq is not a kid anymore. Period. And I think Tommy and Ghost noticed that. But Tommy at that moment did, because of the way Tariq was questioning him and kind of not just letting shit go. But again, he's like, you need to have that conversation with your dad. What else? I'm trying this. I just did not. Like I said, this is a lot. It was a lot. Okay, in this episode. At the club, we see that the reporter who was interviewing them earlier is now flirting with Ghost. And she lets him know, I like to get to know all of my subjects. That's what I do. She also brings up, I can tell that your wife, Tasha, doesn't want to be married anymore. So she's basically putting her foot in the race. She like, look, let me let you know, I'm available. And I can tell your wife don't want to be there, but she's stuck there, which is true. And, that part is cool. We then see Lorenz's Tate character come into play. We knew that Lorenz Tate was coming in to play a character on the season. And he plays a councilman by the name of Mr. Tate as well, from Queens. And basically this scene was just him introducing himself to Ghost, saying I'm a councilman from Queens. And before Stern had you working in other districts and in other bureaus, you should come check me out in Queens. That was basically it. We then see the other scene, because all the stuff, was happening at the same time. Is then a scene of Tariq, and he's at home, and he's basically getting high on his own. I mean, he's getting high. Like, he looks dazed and confused and all that stuff. So Raina comes in, and she's like, what's up with you, Reek? This is kind of crazy. And he's like, what you doing in here? You so stupid. You shouldn't trust our parents. They've been lying. Mom's lying. Dad's lying. Everybody lying. And she's like, she believes him, but she still is like, we need to still, keep up this front, basically. Maybe we can have mom and dad send us to the school in Connecticut. And he like, man, fuck that white ass school. Tariq is just crazy. Like, I don't want to be there. And it was just a weird, not even a weird thing, but you see Tariq trying to convince Raina to not trust their parents. And she's a little bit believing him, but she's saying, if it's true, if mom is a killer and dad is a killer and they sell drugs and this is true, we need to be sure that we're okay. And Tariq kind of don't care. And as him and Raina are arguing, he's so high, he then grabs her wrist and kind of twists her arm a little bit, and he pushes her out of his room onto the floor. And she's like, you're be glad mom isn't here to save you, and then slams the door. Tariq ass is getting crazy. Back at the club, Silver sees that Tasha is wearing a ring now. He mentions it like, okay, all right, I see you wearing a ring now. And she was about to explain herself, but Stern and Ghost walk up, and she's like, okay, well, I'm finna go home, and I'll talk to you later, Ghost. James gives him a kiss, and she leaves. And we see Stern warns Ghost, like, hey, I saw you meeting with Councilman Tate. You should kind of steer clear of him. He's hard to control. And Ghost is like, well, thank God you're a silent partner. And he kind of doesn't listen to Stern. He's like, I kind of like, what he was talking about. And, because Ghost is going into this real estate business and Stern is going to be a silent partner, he like, I'm not trying to listen to you on everything. So, get the fuck out my face. And, yeah. So, next, we see Sandoval is on his way to Donovan's apartment to do what? To kill him. So, we see that he knocks on the door, and the door opens, and he has the gun out at first. And as the door opens, he puts the gun behind his back because Donovan doesn't answer the door. His daughter does. And he's like, oh, hi, I didn't know your dad had you this weekend. And she's like, yeah, but he's not here right now. And he's like, oh, he's not? And she's like, no, he's been working, late hours as of recently. Should I tell him that you stopped back? He's like, oh, no, I'll talk to him later. And he's in the hallway wondering, where the fuck is Donovan? And where is Donovan? He's at Angela's apartment, and they're going over different evidence and things like that. So Donovan and Angela are looking at the surveillance video of them going through the club looking for the club's surveillance video. They're trying to figure out if Sachs or they're trying to figure out basically who hid the gun. So they're looking at different angles, and they're like, Sachs was never anywhere near the going up to the room, and no one was. Who was really going up there? And then they see a scene and they see Sandoval going up the stairs, and they're like, is that Mike? Ding, 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 ding. So finally they catch up to what we know, that Mike is the only one who went upstairs before everyone else. He was the first person up the stairs. So they're like, oh my God, Sandoval is the one who went upstairs. Then it's like, someone's knocking at the door, and it is Sax. So Angela opens it, and, you know, she doesn't open it all the way, so he doesn't know that Donovan is in there. And he's like, look, you know, Maka's talking to me, and he, I think, thinks I did it. He's like, and I didn't do it. I'm not the mole. He's like, you know, I've been talking to Sandoval, and he really thinks that Donovan did it, and it kind of makes sense, you know, that he's guilty. So then Angela opens the door all the way, and then you see Donovan sitting there. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? And she's like, you know, come in, we have to show you something. So, of course, they're going to then show him the evidence that Mike Sandoval is the one that went upstairs and hit the gun. So, yeah, we have that whole scene. And he goes into, and they, you know, the thing or whatever. Next, we see Tasha go to Silver's place. And this is after she left the club with him seeing that ring. And she's like, you know, this ring is just an act. It's just a part of a costume, you know. You told me to play a role, and I'm doing that. And he's like, well, yeah, you know, I had no right to do that. You know, I have no right to do anything with you. And, you know, it's kind of crazy. And he's like, you know, I think you should leave. And then she's like, yeah, I think I should too. And she's like, but you know what? If I never met James, you know, what if I would have met you first? And then she fucks that man. And when I tell you she fucked that man, she fucked that man. Now, in my opinion, Tasha is worse than Ghost. Only because James did fuck Angela, a girl he used to be in love with. Angela knew Ghost from back in the day. Tasha fucked Sean, who was like a nephew to Ghost. That's dirty. She's now fucking Silver, his attorney, who she don't even know. You fucking strangers on your husband. Even though y'all not together no more, you still know you wrong for what you're doing, because you fucking that man, and you shouldn't be fucking that man, because you... in my opinion, this is the wrong thing to do. I know you mad at I know you mad at Ghost, and you mad, but you should not have fucked Silver. That's gonna throw a whole bunch of bullshit, monkey wrench, all kind of stuff in that pot. And then, I mean, that was a sex scene, bruh. Her sex scene was the equivalent of Julio's sex scene with that Asian girl, okay? It wasn't that fake ass sex scene she had with Sean. It was a real sex scene. Bitch, like, what? So next we see Ghost and Tommy having a conversation, and Ghost is finally telling Tommy that Tariq wants him to call him. And Tommy's like, what the fuck you want me to call him for? He's like, I don't know, but he saw me kill the marshal in prison, so he's like, if I don't have you call him, he gonna tell on me. And then Tommy's like, well, oh yeah, that's like how I killed the homeland guy within Proctor. So Tommy lied and told Ghost that Proctor had the recording. If I recall, Tommy took that recording, but he lied and told Ghost that Proctor got rid of it. So I don't know, but Ghost then just does say we both fucked up. I fucked up by killing the marshal. You fucked up by killing the Homeland Security guy. So, you know, you need to call Tariq. So yeah, we do then see Mark, who visits Proctor, and he's saying to him, look, basically, the last time we can trace where the Homeland Security guy was at your place. His phone last pinged in the area of your place. So I don't know what's going on, and you're not even representing Ghost and Tommy anymore. But if you don't, you know, snitch on them, they're going to eventually kill you. That was the basis of the conversation. And Proctor's like, man, whatever, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, leave me alone. Mark pulls off, and who do we see that witnessed the whole conversation? Ghost. He's standing across the street in the shadows. So, last end of the night, and I can't believe this is almost an hour. Tommy calls Tariq, and he's like, you know, what do you want? And Tariq is like, you know, I don't know how else to say this, but Tommy, I'm your father. You're my son, and I want to meet you. Really? You a daddy? We knew that 5 episodes ago. We knew that the minute that man said Tommy Egan, the minute he said that, we knew who you were. So we are not surprised that you're his father. Tommy, of course, doesn't believe it. He's like, you know, my dad is dead. You know, whatever, old man. And he then says, it wasn't my idea to not be around. It was Kate, which is Tommy's mom's name. how the fuck do you know my mother? He was like, you know, I always had a thing for redheads. Your mom was this tall, long-legged, beautiful woman. I have a thing for redheads. And we know Tommy does as well. So as he's talking, Tommy just looks shocked because he's like, one, he know my mom's name. He has a thing for redheads, and so do I. And it's just that whole shocking scene within them talking. And that was the end of the episode. This was a full hour. I basically had to tell y'all the whole thing because it was that much that went on. So, it is now 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is Jaylee's Corner. Good night. Peace.